Welcome to another episode of Piecing It Together, the podcast where we take a look at a new movie and try to figure out what movies might have inspired it. And today on the show, we are talking about a couple of little cute sheeps who happen to be detectives. It's the Sheep Detectives. I had so much fun with this movie. It kind of came out of nowhere. I was not expecting this one, and I'm usually not the biggest fan of like the family entertainment kind of movies, but this is one of the best movies of the year, and I had a great time talking about it with Drew Mixon, first time on the show. We got into a lot of great puzzle pieces, so that's coming up in a second. Before we get to it, I do want to remind you, as always, to make sure you are subscribed to Piecing It Together wherever you listen to podcasts. You can follow us on social media at Piecing Pod, and if you're on Facebook, don't forget to join our Facebook group, Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces, where we continue the conversation about all the movies we talk about here on the show. And with that said, let's talk about the Sheep Detectives. All right, it's time to get into a detective mystery starring sheep. Drew Mixon is with me. How's it going, Drew?
Doing all right. Doing all right. Just, it's I love this movie. I'm excited to talk about it. It is Knives Out meets Babe, and I'm just really pumped to talk about it.
Absolutely. We'll get into the puzzle pieces in a moment. Before we get to them, though, I do want you to introduce yourself to my audience. It's your first time on the show. Tell us about what you do.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Drew Mixon. I am an editor. Grew up in Las Vegas. Graduated high school and college there. Moved out to LA to become an editor. Went to grad school out here, and now via the strikes and everything, I haven't really been working so much. So now I am a teacher at UNLV. I teach advanced editing, and in the fall, I'm teaching the Spielberg class. So I'm excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. Happy to have you here. And a lot of great stuff. The fact that you're teaching at UNLV, that's very exciting. I'm trying to think of, I don't think I've had many UNLV professors on the show before, so that's pretty cool. Um, but yeah, this is going to be a fun one to get into. And I do want to preface it by saying I don't tend to go for the family movies that often. And so going into this movie, I was like, what does everybody mean this is one of the best movies of the year? Are they serious here? And then I get to the theater and the tears are rolling and I'm just having a blast. And like, this movie is so good. One of my favorite movies this year. And yeah, it's going to be fun to talk about it. But I will say, as we get into puzzle pieces here, like I said, not usually my genre. So like my puzzle pieces are going to mostly be coming out of left field here, as far as movies that may have inspired it. So maybe you'll bring some of the more obvious ones. We'll say you already mentioned a couple there in your intro, but let's start getting into it though, and we'll talk about what we liked and didn't like about the movie along the way. But what do you have for your first puzzle piece? What do you think inspired this thing?
I think it was the is it the Murtaugh murders? It's basically those like British TV show that they have like a murder every week. My aunt is a really big fan of it.
Uh huh.
Um, I think that is the original. That's the original basis of this. Obviously, Babe and movies from the '90s because Hollywood has forgotten how to make this type of movie
Mm-hmm.
with the advent of superhero movies. They're like,
Yeah.
well, that could cover everything with family. So they had completely forgot how to make this type of movie.
So we're starting off with Murtaugh Murders meets Babe is I think a perfect way to like kick this thing off and like talk about exactly where we get into and how we describe this movie to anyone who hasn't seen it before. I was thinking more Babe in the City, but same difference, as
Yeah.
far as bringing these talking animals in. And yeah, like you're saying, like this is exactly the kind of movie that it feels like Hollywood has forgotten how to make. Like everything, all the whether it the writers, the stars, the directors, they all got caught up in superhero stuff, and like where's just a simple fun movie like that really anybody can get behind. We used to get lots of this kind of thing, but nowadays not so much.
Yeah. And it's basically, I don't, when I say IP, I mean like, superhero stuff. Like there's always been adaptations of books
Sure.
in cinema history. So
Yeah.
this is an adaptation from a book. And so Hollywood has essentially just decided that, we can spend the money Like this movie cost about what $75 million. Like,
Mhm.
well, if we add 75 more million dollars to this $150 million movie, and we could just put it out for the summer, and everybody can go see it eventually, and it would just be called Superman. Like
Yeah.
stuff like that. That's the
Yeah.
thought process.
Yeah, it's a losing game, honestly, to keep building it up like that over and over again. Speaking of IP, though, I will go to another puzzle piece here, and like I said, a lot of mine are going to be out of left field, but I'm going to actually start off with Scream as my first puzzle piece here. As far as a meta movie where the characters are fans of the genre and they're constantly talking about the rules of the genre, and these sheep they sit around listening to their shepherd, played by Hugh Jackman, reading detective stories. And so as we get into a detective mystery, like they've got the beats down. They've got all of the little like nooks and crannies to look into for clues and all those kinds of things, even though they're sheep. But it's a fun way to set up a movie. I'm a sucker for meta stuff, and so while I haven't liked the recent Scream movies, that first one is just so damn good. And like the idea of characters that are aware of the genre that they're stuck in is a fun way to tell a story, I feel like.
Oh yeah, yeah, and them helping the is it a constable or the detective
Yeah, I
make
think
those
he's a
problems.
constable. He wants to be a detective, but he's not quite, Yeah, same. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
uh, yeah. The way that they address that, it's really engaging because they know the steps to take, but it's the in the in the Bible, there's the story of Babel where people can't understand what other people are saying. I mean, this is basically like a tempered down version of me describing it. So I think of that in the sense that is this a sheep talking to a man to
Yeah.
telling him how to solve this crime.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, yeah, that is it's going to come up actually in one of my puzzle pieces later, as far as cute talking animals who can't understand the humans and the humans can't understand them. So that'll come up again some more later. But let's go to another puzzle piece. What do you got next?
Like I said, Knives Out. I
Yes.
think Knives Out, this genre has kind of really thrived. Like I just remember Ryan Johnson having the success slash backlash of making the Last Jedi, going into the lab and then writing and directing Knives Out. And Knives Out was a smash hit. Knives Out was so much of a smash hit that Netflix was just like, hey, we will make the other Knives Out movies so you don't have to put them in theaters. In a way, it's kind of messed up things, but
Oh yeah.
um, yeah, I really do think that was such a huge. It's like one of those movies that you don't think is a big deal, but in the scheme of what's happened in Hollywood, that's a huge deal. It was Knives Out.
Yeah, and these kinds of movies, like we were talking about earlier, about big family, just fun blockbusters that aren't IP and superhero based, but also murder mysteries are another just like classic genre staple that was so big for decades and just kind of disappeared for a while. But Knives Out really brought it back, and we've seen a lot of other movies. Obviously those Kenneth Branagh ones, and then there's been quite a few other ones around the way. But Knives Out really, I think, kind of kicked it off, and definitely is a great example of the genre, and like one that updates it while staying true to what it used to be. And the Sheep Detectives does it just in a fun, family, silly kind of way. Um, I might as well throw my not being able to understand each other puzzle piece out there as well. Detective Pikachu. Did you see that one?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, I did.
yeah. As far as I'm not a big Pokemon guy. I played video games plenty when I was younger, but I kind of like aged out just before Pokemon came to be. But that movie was pretty fun, and the idea that Pikachu is just this like silly little creature who's trying his best to communicate, but it's just not quite working. And these sheep are kind of in the same boat there, where they're trying to help out, and it doesn't quite work. But then they kind of figure out how to make it work, and that's some of the best fun of the movie.
Yeah, yeah, like that to me. Besides Bryan Cranston and his tragic storyline,
Sure.
um, is some of the best stuff in the movie.
It's
Yeah.
so much fun, especially yeah, my one of my favorite things, I mean, not to like jump around, but like towards the end when the cop played by what's his name from Succession, Nicholas Braun,
Yeah.
um when he's like by my very good detective friends, like stuff like that. It's just so heartwarming and sweet and just adorable. They're so funny, these little sheep. Um yeah, it's just great time. But let's go to another piece. What do you got next?
Hmm. Let's see. I think uh you had brought it up, the Agatha Christie stuff, the Kenneth Branagh
Sure.
stuff. I mean, I enjoy all those movies because of how ridiculous they are. I really enjoy that second one because there was a good like week where I had watched Death in the Nile for the first time. I mean, not like the first time I've seen the old one, but like
Yeah.
I'd watched Death in the Nile, or not Death in the Nile, but Murder on the Orient Express, then Death in the Nile because it just came out, and then like a month later, then the third one with Tina Fey came out, and I'm like, I love Poirot. Like, I just love these stories, and I think they're very instrumental to Sheep Detectives because in Sheep Detectives, like they're figuring out things and they're realizing things before other people do, and so as because we're in the point of view of the sheep, they're like, oh, this is a thing, let me go tell the constable or the detective, and then like we're matching up because the sheep are much ahead of anybody that's trying to solve the crime.
Yeah, yeah, they got it. Like they're ahead of the boat on every little detail, um, because they're the best. That's why.
Yeah.
But no, also because, like you said, they're fans of, like, they probably literally were read Agatha Christie stories to them. Like, you know what I mean? So we're like they're inspired by the stories that inspired those movies that those are like remakes of. So like it all like kind of comes back around, and those are like perfect things to bring into this. Um, I will go kind of an unconventional one here, but did you ever see The Kid Detective from about 4 or 5 years ago with Adam Brody?
No, I've been wanting to see that because I like Adam Brody.
Oh, it is fantastic. It's one of my favorite movies of the last few years. And without giving anything away, I mean, it's basically about this guy who, when he was young, he was a kid detective. And that early success, it like caused him to kind of never really grow up. He just kind of coasted on being the town's kid detective that everybody loves. And now he's got to deal with an adult case. And he is just so not ready for it. And that's a person being not ready for it. These are sheep being not ready for it. But these sheep do learn a lot during the course of this case. They learn that people die, that sheep die, that, heaven and religion and all these things are, maybe not all they've been told to them at any given point. They're learning some big grown up lessons along the way. And that's a big part of the Kid Detective, is that he really never got to grow up and now kind of has to because of this adult case that he's taking on. And yeah, it's a fantastic movie, and really went under the radar. I remember it came out like at the tail end of like the pandemic, and so like it was just kind of buried. But
Mm-hmm.
definitely a movie worth revisiting. And I just love the parallels between, cute little Adam Brody and cute little sheep. So
Yeah,
so
they're
yeah.
one and the same. One and the
There,
same.
exactly. All right. You got another one you want to bring up here?
Yeah. I mean, I think I can muster a couple, but I would say Memento.
Okay.
Um, in the sense that it's Memento is a crime movie based on somebody's memory,
Mhm.
and in this movie, they purposely forget things, and they're trying to piece together things from memory. So I think that is kind of interweaved into the screenplay that Craig Mazin, who is great, is doing, and it makes for a beautiful movie.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it also speaks to the fact that since we've seen so many of these detective stories over the years, like you kind of have to play with the form a little bit and really mess with the mystery and add these little, extra red herrings and all these things to make it stay interesting, stay something that we, maybe haven't seen a little bit of. I mean, of course, they're sheep, but still, you got to get the mystery's got to be right for these movies to work. It's got to actually be a good mystery and it's got to be something that keeps you hanging on. And they could have easily coasted and just made it about a bunch of cute sheep that are kind of detectives, but they make it where they're really detectives and they're actually like uncovering an actually difficult mystery. And yeah, to bring it to Memento, I mean, that is one where you really just have no idea where it's going to go, because especially with the way that the character is, doling out little clues and little details along the way. There's no way you could be at, steps ahead of that one. So
No, no.
I will go with, I'm going to stay in kind of the same era a few years later. I'm going to go with Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind for a puzzle piece here.
Yes.
The idea of choosing to forget difficult things and just live on in a state of ignorance is bliss. I mean, it's something that these sheep have to grow out of, just like, Jim Carrey needs to understand that, like, erasing this heartbreak is not the way. It's not going to help him in the long run, and living with it is how he's going to actually like live a fuller life. And these sheep are learning that lesson as well. I also thought maybe you could throw Men in Black in there, the way they all just kind of basically hit a
Yeah.
button and they forget everything. But yeah, Eternal Sunshine I think is the maybe the heavier version.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, because that is such a great movie. And when you're young and you haven't really dated like me, uh, you're like watching it, you're like, I don't understand this. But as an adult coming back to that movie, you're like, oh, I very, very clearly understand this now.
Oh,
So
it hits more every single time you rewatch it as you get older. Absolutely. So, yeah, Charlie Kaufman is very clued into everything that goes inside of, the brain as you get older. That's something that he really knows what's going on. But let's go to another one. What do you got?
this is gonna sound crazy because I just wanted to do an off the wall one, but I'm just gonna go with the Indiana Jones. Uh, I want to say trilogy, but there's actually five movies. But
Yeah.
like, I want to go with that because the crippling fear of doing something, having a crippling fear of something that is kind of mundane,
Yeah.
and it doesn't really, like, other people are like, You're afraid of those? You're afraid of
Yeah.
snakes?" And like the other sheep is like, "You're afraid of a road? You can't cross a road?" Even this chicken that walked by hilariously
Yeah.
crosses a
Yeah.
road. So
I
yeah.
love it. Yeah, that's a great one. Absolutely. Yeah, for a character that can do basically anything else, but this one thing, no, that's too much. And it's a
No.
freaking road. But yeah, great stuff. Um we got to get some Aardman stuff in here and like all of those kinds of stop motion animated you know like barnyard animal related cartoons. I mean, we started this talking about Babe, but all of these things I think are, they've got to be on the mind of anyone who's making a movie about a bunch of talking sheep. And,
Mhm.
it's funny that this is from the Minions director because those movies, I'm sorry, a little too much for me. They're just too dumb. I don't know how you feel about them, but to me they just I don't know. They're almost nothing. But the Aardman movies are like always like there's so much more substance to them, and I feel like this is like taking that but like adding so much more to it.
Yeah. So um I watched the original Despicable Me because I'm a fan of hip hop music, obviously.
Mhm.
But Pharrell Williams from NERD and the Neptunes did the music for Despicable Me,
Yeah.
the series. So that was the reason I went to the theater on the day it opened and watched the first Despicable Me. And then I've watched every Despicable Me since. They're fine. It's just, you know, Universal needed their thing, and they got it
Sure.
with the Minions.
Oh, they sure did.
And the Minions opened up Super Mario, and they became their own thing. That then was it 2015? The original Minions movie came out, and I
Sounds
think
about
that's
right.
the one with Sandra Bullock, who her voice acting stuff does not work. Like it's very sad. Like Sandra Bullock, you're one of the best actresses, yeah, out there, and you cannot do voiceovers to save your life.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that in the sense that um, the minions have always kind of been like a thing in animation wise, and like they do very funny things. Like the newest one that's coming out is going to have the Universal monsters in it. So as a fan of old film, like I'm gonna definitely watch it. Like even my girlfriend's uh, niece, we went to Universal Studios for her birthday, and she ended up getting a Universal Monsters balloon because of how it looked. And
Nice.
a couple weeks ago, we watched the Minions, and she was kind of glued to the screen. So it it's popular, but you don't know why.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I gotta say, I know that new Minions is coming out, and you just said it's with the Universal Monsters. I've seen the trailers like a dozen times, and I don't even remember that being like the the key point of that. I just heard them, making all kinds of noises and running around the screen, and yeah, that's all I saw. I must tune it out or something, and I just completely missed the point of the trailer. But that actually sounds kind of fun. I don't know. Maybe I'll watch that one. We'll see. But any more puzzle pieces you got?
um, let's see, because we've covered the crime, we've covered. Um, I would say like kind of water shit down
Okay.
for the sequence where um, the two dogs end up killing. I'm blanking on the name because I hadn't seen it since it came out, but Bryan Cranston's
Yeah.
character,
Yeah. Sure.
who Bryan Cranston is putting on a lifetime performance in that vocal booth.
Oh, he's
Him
great.
and Julia Louis-Dreyfus are both putting in some incredible work. Um, so I do enjoy that, um, where it's just this like animals kill each other, and like that is a thing.
Yeah.
Like, and you're sad, and like to get back to Eternal Sunshine, when you brought that up, it's Julia Louis Dreyfus. Like after that happens, you're like, wait, I thought he was going to be a cloud. Like I didn't
It's
think he
heavy.
died.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she's just like her entire world is collapsing, like all in 5 minutes. And the woman right next to me at the uh 1:30 screening the day after it came out at the AMC Rainbow location in Las Vegas, she was crying during that. Like Google was bawling.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm not a religious person whatsoever, and I was crying. I was like, but he was supposed to be a cloud, you know.
yeah,
Yeah, no, that's great stuff. And by the way, Bryan Cranston, he does not mess around when he comes to do an animated character. Isle of Dogs is not a puzzle piece I was going to bring up, but like, is so good in that movie as Chief, the main dog in that movie. Oh, he's so great. But yeah, he does not mess around when it comes to any of that stuff. And Watership Down, great one to include here as far as heaviness in there is concerned. Um, to bring it back to the lightness, though, I'll go with my last puzzle piece, which is going to be the Paddington movies, which are also a similarly kind of like a reminder to what these movies can be if they don't have to blow up to just ridiculous blockbuster IP superhero, proportions. You can make just a good, sweet, fun movie that's for grown-ups, for kids. It doesn't have to just be, completely ridiculous. It can be actually a good movie. And it's pretty tough nowadays for those to happen. But the Paddington movies have done it. Chief Detectives did it. So, hopefully we'll see some more.
yeah, yeah. Um, let's see. I think uh, I was gonna say The Sting, but not really.
Mm,
But if I'm going to do that, I was going to do Ocean's 11, which is one of the first movies where people were like, "Oh my God, there's a twist!" Like if I was paying attention a little bit more, I could have saw that.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so that's the whole mystery. Where you know, um, and like my biggest, well, we'll talk about it in a little bit, but like, um, I think one of the problems I had with the movie was how they uncovered the mystery. Because
Mm.
I'm just like, that doesn't quite jive with what has happened, but I'm still on board. It's my favorite movie of the year.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I think we got to a lot of great stuff, Ocean's 11 included there. Yeah, let's get into some closing thoughts. Anything that we didn't quite talk about here that that you wanted to bring up? I mean, I would just say the we talked about the voice cast, but the actual human cast is great too. I mean, Nicholas Galizintine, who is our new He-Man this coming weekend at the time we're recording this, he's great as the slimy, guy that just came to town pretending to be a reporter. That he's awesome. Hung Chau, Molly Gordon, Nicholas Braun is hilarious, and of course Hugh Jackman, just always great. I thought everybody in this was really good. Emma Thompson, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Like you can't really go wrong when Emma Thompson is casted in
sure.
anything. She's a phenomenal actress, great writer. I mean, she's one of the few actors that has an Oscar for acting and an Oscar for writing. So like that
No,
is like she's one of the real deals. Nicholas Braun is always good. He he's the tallest man ever, but he is still good. And Molly Gordon. I'm not the biggest Molly Gordon fan because I feel that Molly Gordon acts like Molly Gordon in everything.
yeah,
So
she's
that's
yeah, that's her. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But like I only really like one movie that she was in, and that was Shiva Baby. And
Oh
then
yeah, that's good.
yeah, everything after that, I'm just like, okay, that's your thing. But the the cast was good. Um, I and as an editor watching the movie, I kind of wish that there was a scene that Emma Thompson essentially said something to Nicholas Galantine.
Yeah, Galzantine, I think it is.
Galizintine.
Yeah.
I wish there was a line that she said to him so it makes sense later on in the movie. It's just like, please get away from me with your terrible dye job. Like if she would have said that line in the movie, just
Yeah.
like as a Passover line, I really feel that when they end up putting the crime together, people in the audience would have been like, oh, faster. Then
Yeah, that's like
yeah,
that little just throwaway little moment that like you don't think about, but then it comes back and you're like, oh, okay, it was right there.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's like Knives Out and Knives Out when uh, the old woman downstairs says that line throughout the entire movie, and then I'm like, why are they saying that line? And it's because um, Captain America drops down and she sees him and says that line.
yeah,
So that's why I think if they would have added that line, like I would have been fine with it. But still, nonetheless, it's my favorite movie of the year. Um, for a long time, it was Nirvana, the band, the
oh,
show, the movie.
can't wait to see that. I have not gotten a chance to see it yet.
I don't want to. I've told people I'm like they've asked me like what is it about, and I'm like I don't want to tell you because that will ruin the fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. Well, you know what? You just recommended Nirvana, but I always ask my guests for a recommendation of another movie they watched recently. Do you have another one you want to recommend? Something you watched recently?
Um, the last four movies I saw were Is God Is, Mandalorian Grogu, Mortal Kombat 2, which is very surprising. I enjoyed it, and I love boosters. So that's the last four I've watched.
Right on, right on. Yeah, we did an episode on Is God Is. Love that movie. Mortal Kombat 2, I also did an episode on, which isn't out yet. I liked it. It
Yeah,
definitely it's a Mortal Kombat movie. I was into it. I have not seen I Love Boosters yet. I really want to see that though. I really loved his last
yeah,
movie.
yeah. That's gonna be a. I think you were gonna have a very very good conversation because I'm pretty sure you're gonna find a guest that's gonna be like you're gonna have to find like a Criterion level guest where they're like, I like these Criterion movies, and this is where he took the examples from.
Nice,
So
nice.
yeah, yeah,
All right.
very
Well,
well done.
we'll get there. We'll get there. Well, Drew, this has been great. Tell people where they can find you and anything you want to plug.
Okay, I am. You can catch me on Instagram. My name is Druka Doncic, like Luka Doncic, but with instead of Luka, it's Druka. Um, you can find me on Twitter. I'm dead naming X because I like doing that.
Yeah,
You can
good.
find me at Drew Mixon. Let's see, and I work on a podcast. I am co-host called Home Wrestling League. We discuss wrestling topics. Every pay per view, like once a month, me and my co-host Penny and my other co-host Crystal, we talk about wrestling. And this time we actually did a film review. We call it Break a Kayfabe. We've done three film reviews. The first one was Twilight. The second one was Bridesmaids. The third one was All About Eve because All About Eve, and there was like a wrestling storyline that had elements of All About Eve in it, which is
Nice.
incredible. And then the fourth one we just released was The Mandalorian and Grogu. It was fun. I did enjoy the filmmaking of that movie. Does it need to exist? No,
No.
but they need to sell merch. And they were like, we haven't released a Star Wars movie in like 7 years, so let's actually make a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, that's pretty much how the conversation went down behind the scenes. I'm pretty sure. Like, it couldn't have been
Yeah,
any much more than that. That's for sure.
yeah. It's like, hey, what's going to be the resolution of this movie? Like, I guess Grogu's going to be able to push a button, and the Mandalorian gets his chip, and that's going to be the ending of the movie. I was like, all right, cool.
All right. Let's greenlight that for $120 million or whatever the hell it was. Ay, 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 movies. What are we doing? All right, Drew, this was great. Thank you so much for doing the show. And hopefully, we'll be talking to you again sometime soon.
Yeah, and just have me on. This is fun. I enjoy listening. So thank you so much.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed that conversation about the Sheep Detectives. Thank you to Drew Mixon for joining me on that one, and thank you to all of you for listening. If you're enjoying the show, make sure you're subscribed. You can also follow us on social media at PiecingPod. Go to piecingpod.com, get signed up for the Substack. There's also a Patreon, the Produced by David Rosen Patreon, where I post bonus and advanced content from Piecing It Together, Awesome Movie Year, which is another movie podcast that I produce, and from my music career. Lots of great stuff over there on patreon.com/by David Rosen. But you are still supporting the show just by being out there listening. But you could also support us by subscribing to the Patreon, where you get all that great advance, early content, and exclusive bonus content as well. So, anyone who listens to the show knows I always close out with a piece of my music, which I could go with some of my dark, spooky, action-packed, whatever it may be, instrumental music. I just released a new soundtrack album, Friday and Friday, which I'll talk about on another episode. This is not the right episode for that. But there's no better episode to talk about the Pup Pups, my silly comedy group about me and my pets, than on the Sheep Detective. So I'm going to play a Pup Pup song to close us out today. The question is, which one out of 6 albums of this stuff, and 2 more on the way, by the way. Let's see, which song should I play? All right, so this will be a good one to play here. So on the latest Pup Ups album, Pup Pup Radio, our dog Harvey, who did pass away last year, sang a song about whether or not they have snackos in heaven. And heaven is a big theme within the movie of the Sheep Detectives and these little animals learning about what's in store in the afterlife. So we got a lot of different themes all kind of coalescing together into Snackos in Heaven that fits really well for this episode. So let's close it out with Snackos in Heaven from Pup Pup Radio from the latest The Pup Pups album. Hope you enjoy it, and we'll be back with more Piecing It Together real soon.
paradise, the sun shining for days. Yeah, it all sounds really nice, but you know how I am. I'd give it 5 minutes max before I'm back on my feet and barking at you for snacks. All I wanna know is, will they have snackos in heaven? All I really wanna know is, will they have snackos in heaven? I wanna see my mom, I wanna see my dad, my brother and all my sisters. Hey, this isn't half bad. A couple Diet Cokes and some popcorn, that's for my family. And 100,000 snackos, you know that's all I really need. All I wanna know is, will they have snackos in heaven? All I really wanna know is, will they have snackos in heaven? All I wanna know is, will they have snackos in heaven? All I really wanna know is, will they have snackos in heaven?
An All Points West production, produced by David Rosen in Las Vegas.